Greetings, Earth Dreamers, Dreamweavers, and plant lovers. This lesson today is going to focus on mugwort, specifically the European or common mugwort, the Artemisia vulgaris. And there are many species of Artemisia. Some are known as mugwort, some are known as sages, others are known by other names, but for our purposes, we're going to focus on the Artemisia vulgaris, the European mugwort, because she is the plant that is deeply associated with, deeply holds the medicine of dreaming and of dreamweaving. So much so that this is probably not a surprise to you. You've probably heard of mugwort as the dreamweaver by now. She's one of those plants that has popped into pop culture or collective consciousness in her association with dreamweaving. And today I want to explore that and I want to talk about it. And I will say that I'm not one who kind of knee-jerk follows herbal trends or herbal fads. In fact, I might knee-jerk not follow herbal trends or herbal fads because they may not be rooted in deep relationship or relationality. But I will say that mugwort's association with dreaming and with dreamweaving is one that I really, really agree with and believe in and resonate with. And I really didn't set out seeking to work so closely with mugwort as an ally in my dreaming work and walk, but Spirit had another idea. And so mugwort over the years really has grown into my deep ally in the dreaming and the dream weaving. And I've come to understand how real this medicine is that she holds and has the reputation for. So in this lesson, I just want to share a bit about that, about what I've learned from her on the journey. So many of you probably already know that her Latin name, Artemisia, is tribute to the Greek goddess Artemis, who is a goddess of herbalism. She's a goddess of midwives. She's also a goddess of the wild in general. She's a goddess of hunting. She's often seen as a huntress. And she is a maiden goddess, meaning that she's not partnered. So in that, she's a goddess of sovereignty or belonging to oneself and oneself alone. And in fact, what I would say is that she belongs to herself and to the wild and to the goddess. And so Artemis's energy is very much present in the energy of mugwort, very, very much so. And so much so that they almost seem and feel inseparable. And one other very strong association with Artemis is the moon, grandmother moon. And as you know, the moon is our patron of dreaming in this world, on this earth. Some might even say that she brings the dreams. So the moon is associated with the dreams. The moon is also deeply associated with the feminine, right? With the feminine waters, with the moon cycle in our bodies, the moon flow, the menses. And so all of this is held within the energy of mugwort. And we see that when we read about or hear about mugwort. Kind of the bullet point list of what mugwort helps with is female reproductive, ovarian, uterine health. She's a strong moon puller, meaning that if your menses is delayed, that mugwort will help to bring on your flow. And you can see how that association with the old school midwives is there in that. And in general, mugwort just increases circulation and the pull of the womb. So if there is stagnation or a lack of circulation in the pelvic bowl, Mugwort is a beautiful ally to ingest orally and take to help increase blood flow, as well as to make into an oil and apply topically. That's one of my favorite, perhaps my favorite topical womb anointing oil is mugwort oil, because she really helps to breathe that Artemis energy into a womb space that may be struggling with itself, with herself. And so mugwort's also very, very bitter. She's stimulating to the liver, to the body's whole detoxification system. And she's also a purgative, not as strong as her cousin, the wormwood, the Artemisia absinthium, but still helps to detoxify the gut, etc. And in general, mugwort is stimulating to circulation. So if there's just a state of stagnation, mugwort can help to relieve that, to move that. And she is helpful for dreaming, for cultivating and growing our dreaming. And the way that she does that is kind of a mystery, because dreaming is a mystery. But I will say that there is, if we were to take a more kind of rationalistic, literal lens, what we might say is that mugwort does indeed have essential oils in the plant that are they're relaxing. They're euphoric is a word that herbalists use, meaning they help to calm, soothe, relax, and open the central nervous system to create shifts, to relax, to become more receptive to things like dreaming. And so mugwort might help to relax those parts of ourselves through its euphoric action, those parts of our minds and brains and nervous systems that might be just tensed up, and in that not allowing the naturally occurring phenomena of dreaming, which dreaming is that, to arise. So that may be why. But what we do know is that mugwort does grow our dreaming. She has a special affinity to opening up and growing our capacity to dream. And I will say this, that if this is a bit of a safety warning, if you are in a state of acute PTSD or acute mental imbalance, or if you're having trouble with intrusive thoughts or dreaming, if generally you're not in a state of mental and physical balance, then in general, that's not a wise time to stimulate your dreaming. Why? Because dreaming stirs the pot. It will bring you more material to work with. And if you're already flooded by the amount of material that you have to work with, then it's not the time to turn towards dreams. And so in that, if you are in any of those states, then it's not the time to work with mugwort. It's not the time to work with mugwort, because mugwort does stimulate dreaming. So with that disclaimer, I will say that at this point, having spoken with hundreds of people who have ingested mugwort for the purpose of growing their dreaming, the reports that I hear vary all across the board. Meaning, many people say, like, oh my gosh, I drank that mugwort tea last night and it was insane. I had, 12 dreams and they never stopped. Whereas others, I would say just as commonly, will report that nothing happened. There was no shift. And then, of course, there's the somewhere in between. But what we can take from that is honestly quite powerful, which is that unlike some of the other dreaming herbs, the popular dreaming herbs, mugwort does not rip open the veil, right? She's not getting in there and just pulling the veil up so that, whatever's going to come out is going to come out. But rather, and so she's not hallucinogenic, really. But rather what she does is she is an ambassador for dreaming's wisdom, meaning that she will get in there and soften here, open there, maybe even close there, in alignment with whatever someone's current state, mind, journey, etc., where their place is at, in order to gently move us in the direction of dream's wisdom. So in that, we can trust Mugwort. We can trust Mugwort because she's not going to bring us more than we can handle. That's very much been my experience, is that she doesn't bring people more than they can handle unless they're already in a state of imbalance, which happens to all of us. No big deal. It's just not the time to stimulate the dreaming. And so she helps us to connect with that source of wisdom, with the energy of dreams. And she does tend to broaden the dreams, I would say, and to teach in that process about how to be in and with and to the dreams. And so she, in that, is a teacher for the dreamers. She's a teacher for the dreamweavers. If you are wanting to deepen your relationship with dreams, with your dreaming, go to Mugwort. Go to Mugwort and let her help you. Let her teach you. It is, in fact, her gift. One of her gifts is to be the patron, the teacher, the guardian of dreamers. And how would you do that when I say go to her? Well, you go to her in the way that works for you. So the very cool thing about plant medicine, specifically plant spirit medicine, or when we're working with plants to be in connection with their spiritual healing gifts rather than their physical healing gifts, is that any amount of interaction with the plants will elicit a connection. So you can work with Mugwort in any number of ways. You might choose to make or purchase an infused oil of the Mugwort and then anoint that on your third eye and your heart before you go to sleep. You also might make a cup of tea of the Mugwort with a pinch of the herb steeped in a cup of water for 15 minutes and then drank before bed. Mugwort is bitter, so the tea is not the best. It's not the worst either, and you don't need to make it too strong. And you could sweeten it with honey. And you might drink that tea before bed. You also might do that during the day. Have a cup of tea with Mugwort where you say, "Grandmother, Mugwort, will you teach me about dreaming?" And you can sit in reflection communion and bring her tea into your body and allow any teachings, revelations, etc. to bubble up. Perhaps you even write those down. You can burn Mugwort. Mugwort is a beautiful smudge plant, one that you can burn and pass around your body, your spirit, your place of sleep, your home, in order to clear and to cleanse the energy, as well as to bless it, to support you in your dreaming in a beautiful way. You could also, if you're an essential oil person, you could buy some Mugwort essential oil and put it in your diffuser to smell up your room with her energy and her aroma. And there's many other ways as well. You could get tincture and take a couple drops. All of these are working with her spirit, and all of these count as ways that you're bringing her energy into yours in order to deepen your connection, And so if you are wanting to really commit to turning towards your dreams, if that's this moment for you, which might be the case for many of you who are encountering my work right now, if this moment for you is about growing your dreaming, healing your dreaming, expanding your dreaming, expanding your dream weaving, then go to Mugwort and ask her to help you. Ask her to help you. And so whatever form you choose or decide to take her in, of those I mentioned, one thing will be the same. And that is to take a moment from your heart to connect with the spirit of Mugwort in the oil and the essential oil and the herb, and just say, hey, I'm Lauren, and I'm seeking to grow my dreaming. I want to increase my dreaming capacity to help this world to stay a dreaming world. And I'm asking if you would teach me, show me, help me, be gentle with me. And thank you. And then allow her to work with you. And if she shows up in your dreams, meaning Mugwort is in one of your dreams, then that will be a great blessing indeed. And so enjoy the journey with her. Enjoy the time in her embrace. She's a beautiful, gentle, but strong teacher. And so blessed be your time together.